Gaveling us in, it's November 18th, 2022, calling this meeting to order and ask that you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America and to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, for the clerk, it's 3:07 p.m. And as I said earlier, it's November 18th, 2022. We're in third floor Commissioner's Courtroom at the Nueces County Courthouse located at 901 Leopard. And I do certify as the presiding officer that a quorum is present. Commissioner Robert Hernandez is here, myself, and Commissioner Joe A. Gonzalez. Absent today is Commissioner Brent Chesney, as well as Commissioner John Modis. If they should join by Zoom, I will let you know, Kara. But I don't see him. And I wasn't alerted either way, so I don't know if they just couldn't be here with us. So, at this time, what I will do is announce disclosures of conflict of interest and ask if there are any. If any conflicts of interest or appearance of conflict of interest with items of this agenda have occurred, or if you foresee them occurring, you need to declare them at this time. Members with conflicts will refrain from voting and are asked to refrain from discussion on such items. Conflicts discovered later shall be disclosed at that time. And I had asked Jenny, but for just the ease of the future, could we just have the affidavits like here in the courtroom, you know, clerk can hold them or something, just so that if we needed them, what if somebody says yes? Then we need to actually have that affidavit, you know, just for future housekeeping. And then we'll look at Tim, and Tim, give us a brief but important safety briefing.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Judge,
Good
Commissioners. It
afternoon.
will be brief. We're meeting today, as you said, here on the third floor of the Nueces County Courthouse in the Commissioner's Courtroom. For those of us who do not work in this courthouse, the third floor atrium area past the Human Resources Office, you will find the restrooms. There's also a fire extinguisher located at the third floor here at the end of the courtroom, and 5 throughout the third floor area as well. There's an AED located right next to the Human Resources Office. In the event of an emergency, Connie will dial 911. In the event that we do have to evacuate the building, we will go down the third floor atrium stairs, exit LaPont Street entrance, and cross the street for safety purposes. Should there be a need to shelter in place, court attendees will remain in the courtroom. Depending on the severity of the courtroom, depending on the severity of the incident, the courtroom's double doors will be secured and remain secured until given further instructions from the Nueces County Sheriff's Office or the law enforcement agencies. That concludes my brief.
Okay, and speaking of law enforcement, I don't see a member of law enforcement here today. They in the hallway?
I'll follow up with it.
All right, appreciate that. So, are they a public comment roster?
Nobody.
Okay, anybody online wishing to make public comment? Okay, my comment is just to put this up in about an hour and a half. We will be many of us will be at the Richard Borchard Fairgrounds, thanks to the Volunteer Corps. This is through the Nueces County Veterans Services. They've established a volunteer corps. If you're interested in being a part of our volunteer corps, all you have to do is call 888-0820. That's our Veteran Service Office. And I catch him, yeah. Anyway, it's just wonderful because this volunteer corps is helping with outreach events, veteran-related ceremonies, visiting elderly veterans in assisted living facilities, and so much more. And the so much more is today, they will be helping us place 1,000 flags in the ground at the fairgrounds at the Coastal Bend Field of Honor, which had to be rescheduled till today. And so if you can leave this courtroom and go out to the Richard Borchard Fairgrounds at 4:30, or even if you're a little late, it's worth going to see the sea of American flags dedicated to our veterans. And thanks to Nueces County Commissioners Court, our own Nueces County employees that are veterans will be honored as well. So with that, is there any other public comment? Okay, is not. However, please note for the record that Commissioner John Mattis is online and on screen. So we are now for and only absent Commissioner Chesney. And so I'll move to regular agenda item A1, canvass and declare the results of the November 8th, 2022 general election in accordance with Chapter 67 of the Texas Election Code. And that means I turn it over to Kara at this time. Ms. Kara Sands.
Thank you, Judge. I have for you the canvas, the official canvas. What this is, it's for the November 8th, 2022 election.
Okay.
General election. This will, for every state, federal, and county candidate running, it will have their totals. It has every vote that was cast for them in every precinct, early votes, and election day, and also the absentee ballot. So it has everything. It's very detailed.
Got it.
So just some information, we had 89,744 people cast a ballot in Nueces County. That's 42%, which is down about 4% from 2018, but it's better than the statewide average, and it's a lot better than some other counties, right?
Yeah.
So Bexar County was down 7%, Tarrant County was down 10%, Dallas County was down 13%, Travis County was down 11%, and Harris County is down 9%. So we are down 4%, so we are
Okay.
doing pretty good. Something very interesting, and I think is good news for us, we have a great ballot board. They have processed and counted every ballot with central count. We've done our partial manual recount that we're supposed to do, we're required to do by law. We had mailed out 8,009 ballots. Out of those, 6,915 were returned to us.
How many?
6,915.
Wow.
And out of those, only 5 were rejected.
Oh, great.
So that doesn't even, yeah, it's less than,
So,
I don't even know what
so say
percentage
that
that
again,
is.
because that's a good statistic.
Yeah.
So tell us how many were
so
put
out
in.
of, yes, so we had about 85% return for our mail ballots. So we mailed out 8,009 mail ballots. We had 6,915 returned to us, and only 5 of those were rejected.
Okay, so, but let's break it down. So the 6,000 were rejected. I'm so sorry, returned, and only 5 of the 6,000 were rejected.
6,915.
Oh, right, okay.
6,915.
Got it. And only 5 were rejected.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. And we also had several cancellations. So several of the people that did not return a ballot, they did vote, they just canceled that ballot and they voted in person. So we probably had about 300 of those voters.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And how many, those are the ones that ask for the ballot.
every single person that received a ballot requested the ballot.
Got it.
Every single one. So
Okay.
we only mail them out if the voter requests them. So those are the numbers. And we, that's it. You know what? My staff is great. They did a great job. There was nothing major to report. I think we just had a smooth, fair,
Election?
safe election. And so thank
That's
you
good.
to, all of our new partners. Carroll High School was a big hit, the old Carroll High
It
School.
was a big hit.
It was. A lot of people voted there.
And good parking.
Yes. So, again, just thank you to all the
Yeah.
voters and everyone, all the election clerks and judges for working.
Yeah, and
And
I
everyone,
will,
thank
just
you.
out of interest, I will get you our data because several campaigns, mine and the Scott campaign, did a mail-in ballot program. And what I think is important to add to your numbers is how many we sent out and how many of those applications.
Yes.
And how many of those, came in, just to see, are we really hitting the right, 65 and older?
Right.
group?
I can say there was a lot of double effort.
There was a lot of
There
double
was a-
effort. Well, 'cause
I mean,
you're
we're
just looking-
duplicates, like the duplicates were
Well, how does it
amazing.
compare to 2018 as far as how many?
The duplicates?
No,
I mean,
just
we haven't
like,
even counted
like
those.
6,000, so you got 6,900 in. How did that compare to 2018?
I think that's actually more. Yeah, no,
More?
it's more.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
very
Yeah.
good.
No, we had, no, there were a lot. It was, you know, it's the duplicates that
Yeah.
really, because you still have to process them. And we don't
Correct.
know until we
Until
start
you process
processing,
them.
like, oh, they've already requested one.
Got it. Okay,
So
all right,
that's,
so any other information that we need?
no, other than, we have, there is a runoff, but that's the city of Corpus Christi. So that runoff, the election for that is, December 13th. There's nothing y'all need to do. That is their runoff. We're gonna run it, but they do everything.
How about the voting locations and
Here,
all
if we
that?
could borrow the courthouse, that'd be great, to be early voting, but not election day. Because I am the early voting clerk, they've appointed me, the city has to be the early voting clerk, then this is the main early voting location, so.
But do we know, like, how many voting locations they'll have, and
Oh, they're having 6 early voting locations. It's for District 1, 2, and 3.
can we get those, like,
Absolutely.
printed? Just send it to our,
As soon as they call it, they still have to canvass, the city of Corpus Christi
right,
has to canvass.
as soon as they do.
And once they order that election, we will then put all the information out, but it's their election, so they'll let us know.
Understood.
Yeah, so again, they choose the locations, they're just telling us.
Understood.
Yep.
Okay.
Good
So,
job.
yeah, so
And
thank
we,
y'all and
and,
this is,
Kara, I just want to congratulate you and your staff. Y'all did a great job. Seems like everything ran smooth.
they did great. They're
Thank y'all.
great. Thank you. I am blessed. I love my staff. I'm blessed to have them.
Well, we
So
all
thank you.
are.
Yeah,
To have you all here.
yeah. You know, Nueces County is, yeah.
okay, good. And it might be worthy just to touch base with the parties and say, hey, do you guys have any input?
Yeah,
What-
yeah. Well, we've already started, we always have our after-election
debrief,
meetings, and
your
we've already
hot
started
watch.
all of that. Yes, so,
Because sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's painful to hear, but either way, it's
what we do.
transparency.
yeah, well, you know what, that's just how we get better, I think, every time.
Right,
Listen to
okay.
Our partners, thank you.
Alrighty, so what about,
Y'all just accept it.
right, and is there a motion to accept the results of the
Second.
November 8th election?
Okay.
Okay. Motion and a second, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And just like that, the peaceful transfer of power begins. Discuss and consider order authorizing the issuance and sale, this is item number 2. Discuss and consider order authorizing the issuance and sale of Nueces County, Texas Public Property Finance Contract Obligations, Series 2022, and enacting other provisions thereto. Number 3 will be related. I'm going to read it just so you kind of know where we're headed. It comes in 2 parts. The first, we're going to authorize the issuance of the sale. The second, we will authorize the issuance and sale of limited tax refunding bonds, taxable series 2022, authorizing the execution, delivery of the purchase agreement, the escrow agreement in connection with the sale of the bonds, and acting any other provisions related thereto. So with us to explain all of that lovely English vernacular is Noe Estrada. Hello.
Hinojosa.
Oh, my God. I said
okay.
Noe from Estrada Hinojosa.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to come before you. Noe Hinojosa, good to see you all. A little cold out there, and now it's getting some rain too. In any event, back on October 12th, you asked us to come before you to attempt to fund, I guess, a piece of software and mitigate or attempt to bring to you a financing that will not impact interest rate, tax rate. So today, Friday, we received a number of bids since you gave us that instruction back on the 12th. And the 2 items before you is one to award the financing of the personal property finance contractual obligations. If you go to page 4, that will save a lot of time. Page 4, we went out to about 60 banks, and 5 banks responded. On the left-hand side, there are 2 tabulations on page 4 again. I guess I don't know who's managing the page, but if you go to the next page, I think, or the previous page. Yeah, that one, thank you. So basically, there you'll find J.P. Morgan, Webster, Truist, Key, Frost with another approach, and Frost came back with 3 different bids, just moving around the terms and conditions. And for the PPFCOs, it was not a $6 million as presented back in October 12th. It's actually a $5 million financing. The bids came in on the equipment. I think the amount negotiated was about $4.5 million, and 500,000 were going to be used for other equipment that will help us also mitigate expenses associated with software maintenance costs. But in any event, the interest rate we got for this financing is 3.71. We're using the second highest bidder the second lowest bidder versus the first lowest bidder. The lowest bidder was JP Morgan at a 3.63%, and we're gonna be recommending to you a 3.71% rate. It's about a $14,000 differential, but what I like about the Webster bid is that it gives you the ability to refinance or call in those bonds 5 years from now. Today's interest rates are high than what we've seen in the last, I guess, 8 or 9 months. And I hate to not give you, for $14,000, the latitude or flexibility to pay off that debt, either by refinancing it or by paying it off earlier. Otherwise, if you don't have a call date, then you have to wait the 10 years to pay off your debt, and it becomes a little bit more expensive. So our recommendation for item 2, I think, on the agenda is to award these bonds, the PPFCOs, to Webster. On the other side, the refinancing that will help us achieve a low, help us achieve keeping the tax rate at the same level, is awarding JP Morgan the rate of 4.34%, which will change to a 3.54 on the call date. So it was a pretty, we went out with a bid that pretty much told the banks, give us the best you can give us, not only in the sense of an interest rate, but also on terms and conditions that we felt could be favorable to the county, not only today, but down the road as we go about seeing market conditions down the road while the bonds are outstanding. So again, on one side, we're recommending for the equipment Webster Securities, and then on the right side will be JP Morgan. And the beauty about these rates that you got quoted, both of them are lower interest rates than what we presented to you back on October 12th.
Yeah.
So you probably heard about the CPI index, and the Dow Jones went up and bond yields went down. That's what we were able to enjoy. So that's our recommendation, that you award the bonds to Webster, PPFCOs, and to JP Morgan on the refunding bonds.
Yes.
We'll move.
Okay, so we've got a motion to, first of all, let's take it, just a little bit of piecemeal. The first one is to move on, your motion is for Webster.
Webster, yeah.
All right, for the issuance and sale of the public property finance contractual obligation series 2022. I'll second. And any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, Commissioner Mattis. And then on item number 3 regarding the limited tax refunding, is there a motion regarding the authorization, the issuance of these refunding bonds, taxable series 2022, to go with the bidder, JP Morgan?
So move.
All right.
Second.
Motion and a second. And any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We also need a motion to execute and deliver the purchase agreement and escrow agreement in connection with the sale of the bonds and enact any other provisions, and I'll make that motion to do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, and any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and so, once again, Noe, you have helped us achieve our goals, keeping the fiscal house of the county strong while getting us the dollars that we need to make it stronger, because that's what this software is going to do. It's going to really change the face of, the human capital hours that go into the entire system countywide. I think it bears noting, I spoke to you yesterday. I was very excited and happy. Will you go ahead and share the good news, because I want to get a press release out on it regarding our Moody's ratings, and share with everybody what that means. And
Yes, I understand that that the Moody's ratings, I have not, you're gonna have to forgive me, Judge, I've been all over the place.
That's okay, I can.
Yesterday, I was with, on a personal matter, so, I've been disconnected for a few days here, the last, 2 days. But I understand, according to you, that Moody's released some ratings, reaffirming your ratings? of a
Yeah,
double A release?
I'll just, basically, we have reaffirmed our ratings as a AA2. This is for my auditors and my court administrator, a AA2. Also reaffirming basically the NOO, right, the no outlook, which is appropriate for our,
Yeah,
you
stable
know,
outlook. Yeah,
stable
yeah,
outlook.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just think that, here we are. I'll be honest with you, I feel incredibly accomplished. As we started off 4 years ago, we had to reverse a negative outlook. And not only did we do that in year one, but we've gone through tremendous financial and economic challenges as a country, as a state, as a coastal bend. And through that all, to end here, the first, this first, my first term, it's just very gratifying. We did exactly what we needed to do, and that's not because I said it, that's because that's what New York says. They're the ones that matter, they're the ones that count, and that's why these interest rates that we just received are also strong. And so, as they say, here's to you for help guiding us along the way, and here's to us, because they said it couldn't be done, and we did it. And I do intend to brag a lot about it, because it means that Nueces County can move into its future solid as a rock. And Moody's basically gives us a press release. We don't draft it, we just, right? And I'll send a copy to the administrator and to everybody else. But from the auditor standpoint, I hope that pleases you, because that also strengthens your, as they say, your year-end report. And that's all I have. I know that Francisco has a few housekeeping pieces maybe from Blakely that we need to do, or,
Yes, I believe we're adding an item for the agenda on the 7th related
December 7th.
to, December 7th related to the tax, or to approving an ad valorem tax related to this matter. But
okay, I'll just ask that you get that language over to, I saw that email.
okay,
Yeah.
yes, we can.
And just for the benefit of the court, it's just a legal process that reaffirms that the tax will be allocated to pay this debt.
That's right.
Nothing-
It's
nothing
not, it doesn't
changes.
change your ad valorem. It
Exactly.
just ties it together that the way you pay this debt is through the ad valorem.
That is
And of
correct.
course, we have our interest and sinking fund. So, as they say, every once in a while, there's nothing but smiles up here. We got what we needed, and we did so at a strong, at the rate that I thought was incredibly favorable. And then the day before, we get the Moody's rating. I mean, as they say, meeting adjourned. We're done.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.